Hey everybody, Scott Barboza for ESPNBoston.com. High schools here with your Division IV recap, along with John Sarianidis, of course. Two down here, moving on to our Division II game now being played. But before we get to that, let's get into this one. Really great finish here, obviously. Doherty struggled, I think, a little bit in the first half to get into rhythm offensively, but pulls it out late and then has to hold for a 28-26 win with a two-point conversion try going incomplete. John, let's talk about obviously the matchup. I think everybody we were talking about all week long in the matchup between Doherty's wide receivers and DY's secondary linebackers, however they were going to match it up. I think if you came into this game and told Paul Funk that you would hold Alfred Adarkwa to two catches in about 50 or so yards, I think that would be a positive result. John, what did you see out of their coverage and what they brought?
Well, what they did is they put Michael Dunn, their best athlete, on Alfred Adarkwa, and he did a number on him. Outside of that one play he made at the end of the first half, the big play for Doherty, he was a non-factor. And going in, we were trying to figure out how are they going to play the matchup game. Do they put Dunn on Adarkwa or Yidam? The thing is, with Yidam, they moved him around a lot. They played him in the slot. They had no choice but to put him on Adarkwa, and he did a great job as an inside shade press corner. Kind of made him a non-factor other than that one big play.
And then obviously Yidam, again, mentioning in the first half, there were some plays to be had there for the Highlanders. I think they left some points on the board out there. But ultimately, Yidam, with 7 receptions, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. What makes him obviously so difficult to game scheme, and you can go into this here, John, is they move him across the formation. You never know. He'll come out of the backfield on kind of a jet sweep look, and then he'll leak out and become a pass-catching option. How difficult is that to prepare for and to game scheme against?
Well, you can't double a guy like that in the slot. You can, but now you're committing too much of your coverage from the standpoint of you got to commit a linebacker and a safety on him. And plus, they move him around so much in their jet sweep game. They'll put him in the backfield. They do different things with him to free him up. And it was only a matter of time. He got off to a slow start, but you could just see it building up as the game went on. They started doing some nice things with him in terms of using him on the backside and some throwback looks. They eventually, in the second half, threw a screen to him out of that look. It went for a big play, and he started getting into a groove. And look, let's be fair here to DY. They didn't really have an athlete on the field that can match up with him. And ultimately, when you have to deal with 2 receivers like that, you got to pick your poison. They decided to put their best guy in Adarkwa, which I thought was a smart move. But they couldn't contain Yidam, and he ended up having a big day going for 7 catches for 138 yards.
Speaking of that, going back to Mike Dunn, obviously a player to be watched here and going forward. What did you see out of, for a Division IV level game, I think you saw a pretty exceptional level of talent across the board here. Some of the kids that stood out to you today.
Well, he stood out to me just by looking at him from a coaching standpoint, that size. He's 6 feet. He's a $190. He's got a Division I type body. I'm not sure he has Division I type speed. And then again, I don't want to just simplify this, but to me, Yidam was very impressive. This was the first time this season that I saw him in person. He is definitely a BC-type kid. The only question I have is where's Coach Adazio and his staff going to play him? Is he an offensive guy, defensive guy? Personally, okay, and I'm going to sound selfish here as an offensive guy, that's a guy that can play in the slot and do some special things for you offensively. I hope he gets to play offense there because, as you saw today, he is a playmaker in space. He is special.
And, of course, for this Doherty group, I think the story of the season here, I picked him to win in the preseason. Brennan was a little bit of a flip-flopper there going with DY come preseason time, but that's neither here nor there. But what is evident, obviously, this Doherty group, extremely talented. At one time, not so recently, also ran in the Inter High League. Now they're Super Bowl champions, and we'll see what happens to them going down the line, building this program. We got the Division II game, as I mentioned, going on right now, Mansfield and St. John Shrewsbury. We'll catch you after that one.